Lynn's got a question on the screen for you here, Ron. It was quite a long one, so I'll let Lynn read it out.
It just moves away from the All England for a second, but actually focuses on what we started to talk about in promoting the game. And one of our listeners, Ron, is asking, recruitment of juniors to the game is easy, however retention can be challenging. And youngsters say that due to the sport having no icons or stars they can emulate. And is it time for the BCGBA to focus on promoting the high-profile end of the game, which in effect would reward current players and assist the future of the game? And what thoughts you have on that, Ron?
It's what you call dropping it on your tongue, isn't it? I think we bear in mind all the time that we try to attract more juniors, and we try to attract even middle-aged ones. And in fact, going back to the question before about the £750,000, that is basically headed towards over 60s. So when we try to attract more juniors, that money, the development of the game, is to attract from the Sports England, is to attract 60s and over. And I run a pensioners league, and I find that I've got quite a lot of people coming into the game, into the pensioners. But going back to the question, I think the British Crown Green are doing all they can to attract people into the game, and we will welcome any more suggestions to help us along that route. Steve, have you got anything to add to that?
No, well, from my time on the management committee, I don't think anybody ever assumes or has ever said that they know everything, and they wouldn't welcome any advice or helpful suggestions. If I can just put in and comment on that, the actual question, I'm not sure the British Crown Green does everything it can do for lack of a better term, the elite end of the game. I'd like to see that encouraged more, because I think that is the only way you're going to get exposure on TV, radio or publicity. It's for that end of the game.
And that's where I think a professional marketing officer would come in, and the question did sort of focus on promoting the high profile end of the game. And if we had sort of a marketing professional who was paid by the BCGBA to do that, then I think we'd actually start to see some improvements in that side of our sport.
But then you're also dragging into the conversation then the salaries and what you're prepared to pay out, and that's a question in itself.
Yeah, and that would have to come from the grassroots of the game.
We've got another question here, which I was going to come to anyway, which Chris Morrison's put up, about would it be easy to generate membership fees from all the players to put the money into the coppers. They missed a trick with the foolish lifetime membership. Well, I've got to say, North Langton Fylde did put forward a proposal at the AGM to have £1 membership for everyone, and we discussed it as Staffordshire management. We thought it was one of the best proposals that's been put forward, and we were disappointed that North Lancs, for whatever reason, withdrew that. That would possibly generate, I don't know, Ronnie, about £200,000 or something like that. I don't know how many players
every year.
Generate every year. Now, as this question was put forward earlier, with that money, if for instance, we've got to support all levels of the sport, obviously. But if with that you put, say, the 10,000 into the prize money for the All England and paid the likes of Sky their money to get the game more high profile on sport, it could attract people into the sport at the lower ends. In the 80s, I think I personally was in about 5 televised tournaments, and from our club alone, we must have had 5 or 6 new members who'd seen the game on TV and suddenly came and took it up. And some of those are still playing now. One guy actually played us, and now he's living in Bristol and playing flat green. And that was purely watching the game on television in Chadgemoor's club one night. And this is great, look at this. Watching Brian Duncan in the top crown and things like that. Plus, with that money, 200,000, the money's there for a full-time professional who can go and perhaps generate even more money through sponsors, somebody who knows what they're doing. And I think that was, as Chris says, a trick missed. But I will say on the other end, when it was mentioned at Staffordshire's management, there were people in that room saying, why should I pay £1 for the British Crown Green? What the hell have they ever done for me? So we can understand that. At our club, we may have 40 players, and I suspect half of them would say, stuff the British Crown Green. I'm not interested, I just want to play my Vets League, and on an afternoon. You know, they'd want to see, the average player would want to see leadership from the British Crown Green. They'd need to see a blueprint and saying, if we put in our pounds in, what you're going to do with it to take the game forward. And I think that's the only way that you get the lesser players at the grassroots who would say, yeah, I'll chuck me quid in for that, because they'd want to know, before we give them the money, what the British Crown Green are going to spend it on, and use the money wisely. I don't know, Steve wants to comment.
I wouldn't argue with what you just said, and what's already been mentioned is that a elite subcommittee, for lack of a better term, I think that'll be a way forward, is just to generate a blueprint of where you can take that end of the game forward. To go with North Lancs' proposal, Merseyside, I would have done my damnedest to make sure we voted in favour of that. I may not have gone down very well, I may have got lynched, but I would have done my best to make sure of that. But see, North Lancs had to withdraw that because the committee of people who think about taking the game forward, they were in favour of it. The grassroots in North Lancs were not. And I think the grassroots in just about every county will just say, I'm not be playing bowls. What do I want to, what do I want to pay extra for?
Another reason was that it's the way the order paper for the rules revision meeting was set out, as I understand it, that there was a proposal to do away with the £10 club fee, and then additionally put this pound. But it was decided if the £10 proposal was lost and the pound was lost, then the British Crown Green would be a deficit of whatever it might be, £30,000 a year. But I remember 20 years ago when we introduced the 10p registration. The aggravation that I got for the 10p, you got people ringing me up in the speech 20 minutes on the telephone complaining about spending 10p. And then, of course, there was the instance when you ran the event at Stafford and I was going on the green and some drunken fellow collared me, a ball's in my hand, and complained for about 15 minutes about this 10p. What of aggravation.
Yeah.
But you're right, people will say, well, I'm not paying £1 to the British Crown Green for the sponsorship of competitions. I don't play in any competitions.
That's
I just play the local leagues, and I'm not interested.
But as say, if there was a blueprint, as we said, of how that money could be used to take the game forward, if you sell it to them. I mean, we'll say, you mentioned your 10p. 2 years ago, we formed the Summit League, which you've probably heard of in the Midlands. And some of the teams who've joined us were in leagues where they was paying 10p a game, and we had to sell it to them that in our league it's going to be £1 a game. And we had to go to them and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pay £1 a game, but for that you're going to get a professionally run league, we're going to have dress code, scoreboard, a well-maintained league website, prize money of £1,000 first prize. And we won these. We sold the league to them. I mean, that's on a small level compared to the British Crown Green, but we were able to sell it. And they said, yeah, we'll chuck our quids in for that. And that same happened with the Manchester League a few years ago. They got together clubs from local leagues and said, this is what we want to do. And now you've got people travelling 50 or 60 miles to play.
But I think, Mel, that was an easier situation, isn't it? You basically got a captive audience. The people who wanted to play in that league,
yes,
and it attracted them. That £1,000 at the end of the
yes,
road,
that's right.
That attracted them, and it was easy.
But we've gone from 10 teams, selected teams, we're up to 28 teams in our league, like the Manchester League has grown. And they're not all top line people, they're people who just want to be part of it, to play in something that's professionally and well organised.
Yeah, but they're coming into the league knowing full well what the costs are. And
of course.
The latter entrance, aren't they?
Yeah, but again, the same I think would be with this pound thing. I think if people knew where their pounds are going to, whatever level of the sport, they would contribute to it. And it's about selling it. Like we hear a lot said about saying, Jimmy Parker done a great job with this new Bridlington tournament, or Steve doing a great job with Manchester. You don't hear too many comments saying the British Crown Green have done a great job with this, that or the other.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And that's sad. It's a sad indictment of the British Crown Green, isn't it? You don't get too much praise your way. And the British Crown Green deserve it. They work hard behind the scene, but we want them to come forward and show the leadership. I mean, last year at Chadgemore, I managed to get nearly £3,000 in adverts from local, the butchers and the carpenters, people around there just getting the odd £100. Now, a governing body like yourself with a professional person running it, what could you achieve? Saying we're representing a British association, the possibilities are endless. Apart from we're at a credit crunch at the moment, which is making
that's one of the problems. Yeah.